And we're back again. How you doing, Cordell?
Life is good. Life is good.
I hope everybody's doing all right. Today's story actually comes from one of our subscribers. Shout out to Ricky El Barbas.
Oh, shout out. What's up?
Yeah, he sent me his little story. So just letting you know, subscribers, if you have any story you think that we might want to talk about, make sure you send it to us.
Oh, well, this story is interesting. It takes place in Tijuana, where unfortunately a young woman, 19-year-old, was murdered by a gentleman from America. And there's a lot of rumors swirling around right now, which we are going to dispel. But first, let's talk about two other Kelley brothers.
First, let's say that we don't condone prostitution. And the story we're talking about is in Mexico, which is another country.
Yeah.
And prostitution is legal over there.
Sure. And so before we even go to Mexico, we're going to take it to Australia, to the 1800s. And this will just be for one little second, folks. We're going to talk about bush rangers, Ned Kelly and Dan Kelly, because you're going to hear about the Kelley brothers and thinking, well, yeah, I heard about the Kelley brothers. Well, this was a while back. And, they were famous in Australia because they used to rob banks. And the dude used to wear a metal suit.
I remember that. There's a movie about that, right?
Yeah, with Mick Jagger. Mick Jagger
plays that. Yeah, I remember that.
And there's another movie with Orlando Bloom and Heath Ledger.
That's the new one.
Yeah, that's pretty popular. And he's like a folk hero in Australia.
They're Jesse James.
Yeah, they were called bush rangers, and they would steal horses and rob banks in Australia. And they were the father was a prison or convict that came over from England. They would send him to Australia, and that's what they did out there. You know what's interesting? When they finally caught him, they dismembered him eventually, and his skull has been stolen several times, and it's famous. The case of Ned Kelly's skull, people are trying to find it.
Oh, no one has it right now?
Well, people thought they had it. There was a lady who thought she had it. Her name is this self-proclaimed witch named Anna Hoffman in New Zealand. She has a collection of over 20 skulls. And she thought it was, but the forensic evidence said that, that's not his skull.
Yeah, because does he have any he has surviving relatives, right? They could test the DNA, right?
Yeah, that's why. And they did that. And also, he had a big hole in his head from after when they hung him in prison. They drove a stake in his head just to make sure.
They didn't want him to come back as a zombie and continue killing people.
And what's also interesting about the story is to help find him, they were having troubles tracking him down, and it was two Aboriginal trackers that found him there in the deserts of Australia, and they were trying to get the reward, a 50-pound reward or whatever, and they didn't give him the money.
So they got screwed. They didn't give him shit.
No, and then so a couple years back, the relatives of the trackers tried to sue the government and said, "Hey, we just want that money plus 12 cents every year. That's not much. For 40 adds up to 40 million.
Only 40 million.
Yeah, they threw it out in court though.
Yeah, they're like, fuck you guys. We didn't pay him. We're definitely not going to pay you guys.
Yeah, we ain't paying you then. We ain't paying you now. It sucks. But so now we're going to move on to the new Kelley brothers. And that's what tripped me out. I was thinking the Kelley brothers, where have I heard of this stuff before? So we're going to go on to Logan Kelley. This is the dude. He's 26 years old. He grew up in Mountainside, New Jersey. He played for the University of Alabama, Montevideo, and before he attended Rutgers. Okay. And this is where some of the rumors come in. People are saying he was a basketball star and all this shit. Nah, that dude got kicked off the basketball team after only 3 games.
So he was a bench warmer?
No, it wasn't that. There was something, he had some issues. He already had weird issues, back then. Because some of the players are coming before saying, oh, we remember that dude. He used to walk around the halls with his jackets, and he was, kind of a rich school. He attended these rich schools because Rutgers, cost money there in Jersey.
Yeah.
So that's the first rumor. He wasn't a basketball star. Rumor number 2, folks, he wasn't in the Marines. People thought or claiming he was in the Army of the Marines.
Hear different stories. You've been hearing different stories.
Because the knife he used to kill the poor girl was a replica Navy SEAL knife. It had a little picture of a SEAL on it, and it said Special Forces. But old boy was not in the Army. If he couldn't make it on the basketball team, I doubt he's gonna make it in the Special Force. But here's the thing. Here's where the story does take a little twist. He sure loved hanging out at Adelitas, the club down there, in TJ.
It's a spot down there where it's like a strip club, and it's also a prostitution. So you could go there and have a beer. It's like a bar, and look at the girls dance and stuff like a regular strip club here. The difference is that you could actually sleep with them if you offer them enough money.
Yeah, that's where the problems start, huh?
So I guess he was lounging there, hanging out.
Well, it seemed that he had been going there for over a year because, they already cleaned up his Facebook, some of the posts, but people happened to screenshot it. And what they found was that several employees there at that club had liked some of his posts going back a while back. And so he had been going there for a while. And so what the big story is, apparently he fell in love with this girl. And a few days before Valentine's Day, he went down there and, in a black hoodie, ran in there and slashed her throat and ran out. And he was busted by the authorities not too long after that, Luckily, because, Tijuana is a crazy place down there.
You know what? I'm just saying, like, I had a friend of mine who got caught up at a strip club here in America because you go to the strip club, all the girls are nice to you. They're trying to get your money.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so a lot of people take that kindness as, oh, she likes me.
As love.
Yeah, and they go back and they give their whole paycheck and stuff. Yeah. And I had friends that got caught up like that. Maybe this kid went there and they were nice to him, and he's like, and this girl was nice to him because he had money, obviously. Yeah. He was there all the time. Then they'll go, oh, she likes me. And then he was probably like, hey, let's leave together. And then she was like, no. Then he went like, if you can't be mine, you're not going to be nobody's. And snatch. I mean, I don't think that's what happened.
Well,
I'm just saying, speculating.
Well, the young victim, her name was Isis Montoya, and, young purity girl, 19 years old, working there at the infamous bar down there. What can you say about it? It's very sad, But oh boy, he's lucky that he wasn't caught by the cartels down there. They would have sent his head back as a basketball.
Yeah, because a lot of the girls that work at these spots are doing it because it's Mexico's there's poor areas.
Sure,
like anywhere else, and that's the only thing they have. They go out there and they
some kind of source of income. To feed
they
their
make
families.
some money,
yeah.
or whatever. And then a lot of these places are controlled by the cartels. So luckily for him, he was arrested because if the cartel would have got a hold of him, they would have just disappeared him. They would have never even heard of him.
So it's ironic, some of the rumors are already going around with the QAnon folks and all those conspiracy folks talking about, because their name was Isis, and he went to his school, and the basketball team was called the Scarlet Knights, which in history does have allusions to blood and occult stuff, and there are secret societies there at Rutgers University. There's one's called the Cap and Skull Society and the Order of the Bull's Blood, which goes back to the 1800s, that's famous in New Jersey. But he wasn't part of that stuff.
Well, I mean, if you look hard enough, you'll find things in anything. I mean,
right.
I went to Hollywood High School, and those are the sheiks.
Right. So what does that say about you, my boy?
What does that mean?
Well, here's the thing. He wasn't the only troublemaker in the family. We were talking about the Kelley brothers earlier from Australia. It's a family operation. Yeah. Well, let's talk about his brother. His name is Reid Benjamin Kelley. That's Logan's brother, and at first I'm like, are you sure? So I did a lot of research, looked it up to make sure, and they kind of look alike. I'm like, oh shit.
Okay.
You could see it, but so let's go back to 2010. He was arrested for trying to extort a Chapel Hill bank. He tried to go big and rob a bank. He threatened to kill 4 North Carolina college students if he didn't get the money. This is how it started.
The students were working at the bank? Or
No, they were just down there at the college. This is what he said. This is how it started. Dude, a bank employee, it was called the BB&T Bank, found a typewritten letter demanding that $300,000 be left in a trash bin at the Foxcroft Apartments in Chapel Hill, right next to the college there. And he said if he didn't do it, he was going to kill 4 college students. From the university there.
That's odd, right?
Yeah. And so,
Like, why would I care about 4 random kids?
Yeah.
Like, I'll kill your parents sounds more convincing than, I'll kill 4 random people.
So, Greensboro detectives identified Kelley through the bank's security camera system. You know what I'm saying? And so after that, this is where it gets interesting. The FBI agents.
Pre-COVID, that's why they got him, because right now he would have been masked up.
Right. No, I know, huh? So he had to leave that stupid note. So what they did, they set up surveillance on him. And when he came up to pick up the money in the trash can behind the apartment building, that's when they arrested him, took him in. When they went to his house, They seized multiple weapons, including an M4 type rifle, ammunition, body armor, and ceramic plates for customizing body armor.
What?
That's what made me think back to the Kelly story. Like, what? This dude had his own custom bulletproof vest too.
This guy even in the military, he's one of these posers.
That's the brother. That's the brother of the dude who, sliced the throat of poor Isis down in Mexico.
Wow. So sometimes there's two nuts in one family,
So, the one thing they have in common, they both like to wear a body armor, customized body armor.
Stolen glory.
Stolen glory.
That's what they have in common.
So we'll see what happens, folks, because one got sentenced for extortion, and threatening to kill students, and was sentenced to jail. The other one's in jail in Mexico. And so some people are talking right now like, well, hey, he's going to be extradited. And they're saying no, because he committed the crime in Mexico. He's going to go to jail in Mexico. And a lot of people are saying, well, there is precedence. When you do something in a foreign country and you're a citizen, they bring you back here to serve your time.
Is El Chapo serving time in Mexico or in America?
That's what. Then that was the answer. That was the biggest answer that people were saying.
So yeah, they could keep him if they want. Maybe Mexico is a corrupt country in some ways, and if the family has enough money, they could arrange for him to get. If they pay off enough people, it could happen.
Well, they went, like I said, they went to rich schools and came from a rich area, but they were caught up in crimes, weird stuff. Kind of like people were saying they're in gangs and but we're waiting to see. We can neither confirm nor deny anything. We got to see the real evidence.
I'm thinking that was what I said. They just, when you go to a strip club or one of these places, all the girls are nice to you.
Oh, no, you come on.
And he took that kindness as like, oh, she likes me.
Well, that's what I was saying earlier, is that nations or some empires have fallen over women.
Yep.
Or,
He's not the first or the last.
Right. Well, folks, like we said, thanks to our subscriber.
Barbas. Ricky, thank you for the story.
And folks out there, send us in your good stories,
And make sure you guys subscribe, like, and share so we can keep on growing.
All right.
You are listening to the Audio Missile Podcast.